Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something I think a lot of us wrestle with. How much of your career path is actually truly your decision?
Right, versus how much is shaped by, well, everything else. Family, expectations, just pure circumstance sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's rarely that straight line we imagine, is it? It's more like constant adjustments.
It really is. Adaptation, compromise, maybe even redefining what success or, fulfillment even looks like along the way.
Yeah.
And that intricate dance, that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, and we're doing it through a really fascinating interview. It was conducted by Chelsea Gong with someone we're calling B.
Mhm.
And B's story, it's not just about her. It feels like a lens for all of us to look at our own paths, dealing with pressures, making those pragmatic choices.
And maybe finding real contentment in a life that,
Mm,
well, that some might just label as plain or ordinary.
absolutely. So our mission today, let's unpack B's journey from high school in Guangzhou all the way to her current role in Hong Kong.
And pull out those surprising bits of wisdom, those nuggets of knowledge, as you said in the outline. Insights on adaptability, compromise, and rethinking what success really means.
Get ready because B's story, I think it might challenge some of your ideas about ambition.
It definitely challenges the standard narrative.
So let's start back in Guangzhou. B's high school years. She describes herself as a liberal arts student, average grades, ordinary class. Doesn't sound like she was fiercely chasing academic glory early on.
Not at all. And that decision to go to university in Guangzhou, close to home,
Yeah.
she calls it sewing, basically, following the crowd.
Right, which she said was partly because of her academic standing at the time.
Yeah.
It feels familiar, doesn't it? Sometimes limitations or just not having a burning passion yet kind of guide those first steps.
It's so true how early those external factors start shaping things. Her grades, staying close to home.
Mm.
It genuinely narrowed what she felt were her options. And following the crowd, well, it's not always a bad thing, right? It can be practical when you're young, maybe unsure. It shows how those early choices are often less about a grand vision and more about, well, navigating what's right in front of you.
And then comes the big one, choosing a major. This is where her parents, especially her father, really stepped in.
Oh, yes. Very strong influence there. Her first choice was actually accounting,
Okay.
but she didn't get in, so law became the second choice. And B was initially quite positive about law. She had this idea, girls, you sure.
Which means?
Basically lots of options. Go to a law firm, work for the government via civil service exams, or even study abroad. It sounds quite flexible, right? Secure.
Very secure. That seems like a classic parental preference, stability, reputation, good prospects.
Exactly. But here's the twist. B developed an interest in criminal law,
Ah.
and her father strongly objected. He thought dealing with suspects visiting detention centers, that it was unsuitable for a woman.
Wow. So not about her ability, but about suitability based on gender.
Precisely. And that shut down her interest right there. Imagine that feeling, having a potential path you're excited about just vetoed.
That must have been tough. So what did she do?
She ended up pursuing a double major, adding accounting back into the mix. A huge pivot, really, driven entirely by that familial expectation.
It really shows how deep those cultural or family expectations can run, dictating choices in ways that might seem surprising elsewhere.
Definitely. And then, after navigating all that, she takes this detour. A family friend gives her some advice.
What was the advice?
Just make some money. Forget more studies for now, just get a job.
Huh. That sounds like practical, maybe slightly impatient advice. How did that turn out?
Well, she landed in what she called a bottom-tier investment bank, doing new third-board business that's a specific, often volatile market in China for smaller companies.
Okay, so not exactly Wall Street glamour.
Not at all. The pay was low, 9,000 RMB pre-tax, she said. Bonuses were late. Management was chaotic.
Sounds stressful.
And B was sharp. She felt, basically, that this whole market segment was unstable, like a bubble waiting to burst.
So a bad experience overall.
A really negative experience, but also maybe a valuable one. It was a wake-up call. It pushed her back towards education.
Right, back to the plan for further study.
Exactly. She reconnected with universities and ended up enrolling, albeit a bit delayed, in a master's program in the U.S. That tough job experience really clarified what she didn't want.
Okay, so B heads to the U.S. for her master's. But again, constraints pop up. Her liberal arts background limited her options somewhat.
Yeah, so she went into finance. It sort of overlapped with the accounting she'd done, which made sense.
But she mentioned struggling a bit.
She did. She was very open about finding the quantitative stuff like statistics difficult. She said her high school math was a bit weaker.
That's very relatable, facing those old academic weak spots.
It is. But it also shows her adapting again, right?
Right.
Building on what she did have,
Wow.
even if it wasn't a perfect foundation, and facing the challenge. It shows resilience.
Definitely. Did she consider going further, like a PhD?
She thought about it, but a finance PhD seemed unlikely, again because of the quantitative demands and her background.
So other fields then? Accounting, maybe?
She considered things like accounting, marketing, management PhDs, but honestly, she wasn't thrilled about those fields, and she really didn't like the idea of ordinary 30s staying until she was 30, stuck in what she called Wuxio, sort of big rural America.
Huh. Okay, so lifestyle factored in heavily too, not just the academics.
Absolutely. It was a very pragmatic choice. Work, financial independence, a more vibrant environment. Those won out over staying in academia longer, especially in a field or place she didn't love.
That feels like a real moment of clarity, knowing that more degrees weren't the ultimate goal for her.
Exactly. It's a shift towards prioritizing immediate work and, quality of life.
So, master's degree in hand, she hits the U.S. job market. Where did she start?
Her first real step was an internship at an ex-bank in New York.
Okay. Doing what?
Compliance and anti-money laundering. And interestingly, it was a fantastic match for her background.
How so?
Well, think about it. Law for the regulations, accounting for the financial details, finance for understanding the markets. All those different threads, partly chosen by circumstance or parents.
They actually came together to give her a unique skill set for that specific role.
Precisely. It's a great example of how a nonlinear path can sometimes lead to a really valuable, specialized niche.
Did she stick with compliance long term?
Initially, she still had ambitions for those front office roles, client-facing, maybe more glamorous.
Right.
She moved to another bank, XX Bank, as a credit analyst, which is sort of an assistant relationship manager role. Still exploring, still adapting.
But maybe starting to lean away from the high-pressure front office.
It seems that way. The next big move kind of confirms that.
Which was?
Moving back to Hong Kong.
Okay. A significant change. And what role did she take there?
This is where she lands firmly in the BE, the middle office. She became an associate director in credit risk at a state-owned bank.
A state-owned bank in Hong Kong. How did she describe it?
She jokingly called it a tuja, which kind of implies a low-paying bank, especially compared to the big international players there.
Interesting self-awareness there. Why the deliberate move to middle office?
She was quite clear about it.
Yeah.
She said she didn't want the heavy client entertainment, the schmoozing that often comes with front office roles.
Ah, so it was a lifestyle choice as much as a career one.
Definitely. She was looking for something more accio, more research-oriented, analytical, less about sales and relationship management, more about the substance of the risk assessment.
That's a major shift. Choosing work style and personal comfort over perhaps higher pay or perceived prestige.
It really is. It's defining success on her own terms. Stepping away from the usual ladder climbing to find a place that genuinely fit her. That's not settling, it's strategic.
And did it pay off in terms of lifestyle?
Massively, it sounds like. She talks about having an excellent life balance.
The dream. What does that look like?
A 9:65 schedule. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 5 days a week. Pretty much no overtime.
Wow. In finance, especially in Hong Kong, that's rare.
Very rare. She credits the more laid-back culture of the state-owned bank. It seems she really found a sustainable rhythm.
So she wasn't just trading salary for misery, she was trading some potential salary for actual time in life.
Exactly. And her life outside work sounds incredibly full. Regular exercise running, jumping rope, seeing friends, hiking, dragon boat racing.
Dragon boat racing, cool.
Yeah. Plus cultural stuff like exhibitions, concerts. She's clearly not just existing outside of work, she's thriving.
It really shows how a job that might seem plain on the surface can actually enable a very rich life overall.
Precisely. But she's not totally coasting professionally either, right?
No, that's true. She's still pursuing professional certifications like an intermediate economist title, aiming for senior roles eventually.
And that's partly encouraged by her parents still.
Yes, which is interesting. Their influence is still there, but now it seems supportive of her advancement within this stable system she's chosen.
A different kind of influence now. More supportive, less directive.
Right. And she's still tackling that old quantitative weakness too, planning a part-time degree to get better at understanding financial models.
Even admitting she sometimes feels stupid when looking at them. That honesty is quite remarkable.
It really is. Just say, I said I couldn't understand. I felt very stupid. Just lays it bare.
It shows that finding contentment doesn't mean stopping growth. You can be happy and still working on things. The plainness allows space for both well-being and targeted self-improvement.
So, looking back on this whole winding journey, how does B feel about it now? Any regrets? Especially about, say, the parental influence early on.
Well, she admits she initially resented her parents pushing her into liberal arts, saying survival in the job market felt so hard because of it.
Okay, so there was resentment.
Initially, yes, but now, looking back from her current stable, fulfilling life, she actually sees their judgments, their career advice, as quite accurate.
Wow, that's a big turnaround.
It's huge. It's that maturity that comes with hindsight, isn't it? Recognizing that even if a path wasn't your first choice or felt forced upon you, it could still lead somewhere good.
Somewhere unexpectedly good, perhaps.
Exactly. So she says, no regrets, even with all the detours and compromises. She accepts how those choices, even the externally driven ones, led her to a place she genuinely values now.
That acceptance is powerful, especially when she describes her life now as savoir, very plain or ordinary.
Right, and she even qualifies it. She might sometimes wish she'd pushed a bit harder maybe for different outcomes.
What?
But then she immediately says, oh, cooler, it's also okay now. It's good enough.
Right.
More than good enough, really.
That feels like such a pragmatic, grounded perspective, cutting through all the pressure to constantly optimize and achieve more.
And her final reflection really nails it. She says, che,
Meaning?
essentially. You don't know what you would have done differently and whatever else you might have chosen. Well, it might not have turned out any better than this.
Ah, so it's an acceptance of the present, acknowledging the uncertainty of alternate paths.
Exactly. It's not apathy, it's a kind of wisdom.
Huh.
It challenges that relentless chase for the perfect career and embraces the contentment found in the good enough, a plain life, allowing other things to flourish.
B's whole story, it's just this incredible example of balancing those outside forces, parents, circumstances, with her own evolving choices.
Yeah, finding a version of success that truly fits her, not some generic definition.
And the adaptability she showed, moving from law to accounting, finance, compliance, credit risk. That flexibility, especially dealing with family expectations, it's really something.
It really forces us to question what ambition even looks like today. Is it always about climbing higher? Or is it about finding the right place, even if it's not the highest peak?
Her story highlights the value of compromise, finding peace, even if the path wasn't perfect.
Yeah, she built this really solid, comfortable life for herself, rich in ways that go far beyond a job title. It's not about the most visible success. It's about sustainable, personal fulfillment.
Which leaves us, and you, our listener, with a final thought to chew on. In this world that's always shouting more, better, faster.
Right, always chasing the next thing.
What does achieving a good enough life actually mean? And could embracing that plainness or ordinariness be in itself a pretty radical act of self-acceptance?
Maybe that's the key to living a life truly on your own terms. Finding peace in the okay, the good enough.
Something to think about.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope B's story offered some fresh perspectives.
We'll catch you next time.